My son and I, we walked down about several blocks into a creek. We walked along for several, about the length of several city blocks, and we picked out these, I was on a search for tree roots that were sticking out of the bank that were covered in moss. And this will be used for decorating the aquarium with. Currently I have tree branches. Also picked up this thing here, and this is old rotten wood, tree branches and roots that it's covered a little bit with lichens. And here's another tree root. I took along a saw and just cut off. I found the shapes that I liked and thought were interesting and that were covered in moss. And the tree frog will hop around on these. I also peeled off moss from rocks and also from the ground. So this is really rich moss. Here's my current frog setup. Frogs, newts, fish. This is a 4-foot aquarium, and it's almost 2 feet tall and 1 foot wide. It's old. That is, this has been run down. I'm a little bit bored with it. I'm going to add, this is the before video, show you things of, the glass is dirty because the tree frog hops around at night and he dirties up the glass because he gets a little bit muddy. There he gets the, gets all the glass muddy as well. And the moss has really gotten old and yucky looking. It's several months old. I don't know, I'd say it stays green for the first several months. But then if I leave the lights on too long or it dries out, I'm not quite certain what. But anyway, it goes downhill, gets not very nice looking. So I replace this about, maybe twice a year. Maybe 3 times, twice, 3 times a year. Yeah, I guess about twice a year. Anyway, here's the fire-bellied toads, real common, real easy to take care of. And there's the tree branches that are in them, and that sufficed. I was happy and still am happy with it, but I just want to change the scenery. I want to jazz it up a little bit. So I'm going out and I'm going to replace these branches with something more interesting. The tree branches were cut exactly to size to fit very snug against the glass, so that when you put it end to end, they will, the pressure alone on the glass will hold it firmly in place. In other words, elevate it off the ground several inches if that's what you want. In this case, both of mine, I allowed them to dip down so that the frogs and the newts can actually climb onto it and crawl around, but they didn't do it too much. I'm going to replace it with the mossy tree roots to make it a little bit more, it'll be more aesthetic and have a lot of greenery in it, and also very soft for the need to crawl around on. Okay, here's for the frequently asked question. People always ask me, right in, what kind of kit is that? Where did you get the creek? This was a vivarium making kit. That is, it had a divider, it had a plastic creek, it has a container for the pump that's in there. This is a $20 pump. I've replaced it now twice. I've had it for so many years. I've had it about 15 years. So I've gone through 3 pumps. And from what I hear, the original one wasn't quite. The concept is that by this divider that came with the kit, it divides the land section from the water section, and it was supposed to pump water all the way through the gravel. However, what I did, from what I hear, is that it wasn't strong enough to suck up enough water through all this gravel. So what I did was I added my own PCP pipe from the open end that has slots. The water travels very freely through here to this back container. So that makes the water very predictable. Water is very essential. Flowing water is very essential for keeping frogs because they have to stay moist and moist. And not just jumping in, but this water that's flowing like this really increases the humidity. I'm going to put in the new moss in just a few minutes. But people can, this kit was discontinued. To my knowledge, they don't sell anything like this. If somebody knows of a new kit that they do sell, I'll put it over in the right-hand section of the video comments, the video where you can have links to look at other things. And I'll also link to other cool websites that show you how to make your own. But I can tell you, you can make this on your own easily by spending about maybe $25. Well, $20 for the pump, which is on the inside of that. I'm not showing you that. Well, this is a 3-inch by 3-inch pump. Costs $20. That fits into that. Pumps the water up. Now you could make your own version. You could easily make this on your own if you are good at cutting up plastic, plexiglass. You could even cut up half-gallon milk containers. All you need is a divider, which you can cut yourself, put holes in it here, and then get you back to, say, another half-gallon container, a milk container. You cut the top of it off. You leave a hole for the pump. You use silicone as a glue, and you can glue everything. You can take plastic and create your own creek, again, out of milk cartons. You'd have to be a little creative on how you cut these and the shapes you cut it. You'd have to save up milk cartons for a while, or run around and steal them out of people's garbage on, take it out of the collectible, what's it called, the recyclable bins. You can get lots of plastic that way. Anyway, with a little scissor cutting and silicone as a glue, you can make this your own setup. The thing you want to be real careful of is don't leave anything open so a frog can fall in there and drown. That's what this lid is for. You'd have to make your own version of that. And you have to have room for the cord to come out. So you're going to have to, if the kids want this on their own, ask their dads to make something like this for them. It's not going to be that hard. This is one pampered frog. So what I've done is I've taken t-shirts and I've cut them up and I'm laying them down onto the gravel. This is a barrier to keep the dirt from continuously eroding into the gravel. This kind of acts as a filter. It keeps it all up on the surface. It doesn't keep depleting. You could also use a coffee filter, cut that up. In this case I used t-shirts, as an old t-shirt. Rinse out, make absolutely certain, rinse it out very well so there's no detergent in that, so it doesn't contaminate your aquarium. It's fine now. I've done the same thing here months ago. This is old dirty brown t-shirts right there. I've also put in a few rocks. Anyway, just to separate, act as a barrier on top of the gravel so the dirt doesn't sink in through it. I've got a few different species of moss here, and they're all pretty similar. That's now going to be the carpet that goes on top of this. I've laid down most of the new moss, but you see I have a strip here between the creek and the glass, which is only about 1.25 inches. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to take the moss and cut it just as if it were carpet. I'll cut it into a strip and just lay each strip in there. And that works fine enough that even cut like that, it fits in there nicely and it stays alive. The cut edge does not die. Okay, the moss is all in now. The animals are a little bit stirred up and I'm putting them on the land section to get them out of the water, keep them safe. And now I have the chore to figure out how to put these big tree roots in with the moss and take up the space in an aesthetic way, because I could literally have one end go. How do I choose to put these in there and interlock them? It's like a jigsaw puzzle.